Chad Ike's Courage Barbell. Or you could say some dude with a lavalier mic and a phone who's got access to YouTube. Either way you look at it. So, coming back with another episode today, I actually want to talk about deadlifting. You know, I try to cover a lot of things that I see or questions that people ask me or stuff I'm dealing with my clients. Because I want to get you guys good information, stuff that's pertinent to you and what you're doing and how you're training. And one of the things I continue to see people doing is either they have the grip it and rip it attitude towards the deadlift, where they really don't give a shit about their technique. They're just trying to fucking pull as fast and hard as they can. Or we have the guys that go way into the technique about it and like try and get so specific and figure everything out when it's really, they're kind of overcomplicating it. Like the best balance is somewhere in the middle. I do happen to think that the deadlift is the most technical lift because there is no eccentric phase. And in a squat or even in a bench, if I can feel the groove as I'm going down, and if I misgroove it, I can correct it. In the deadlift, I have to get in the right position from the beginning. And I have to maintain that, which adds a whole new aspect to it, at least for me. So one of the things I see lifters talk about and question a lot is like how high their ass should be, what their starting position should look like. And I'm going to show you guys what I've done for years and years and years with lifters on how to figure that out. And I think somehow I came up with this idea when I would watch guys deadlift, and you've probably all seen this or even experienced this. Well, they'll go to do a set of 5 to 10 or whatever it is, and the first pull takes like 75% of the time to do the whole set. Like the first pull is a grind. And then after that, they crank out every other rep. And I got to thinking about that, and I'm like, okay, well, first of all, what training reps doesn't seem that important to me if you're never learning to get the first one right. Because in a competition, it's the first one. That's all that matters. But then the more I started thinking about it, I'm like, well, wait a minute. The reps are getting easier for them. The weight isn't changing. Like the weight's not getting lighter, but they're pulling it faster and easier. That means they're in the right spot. They have much better technique. Well, why do they have much better technique? Because they have that eccentric phase to find the technique on the way down. And usually when doing reps, guys won't just drop it. Like when they're doing singles, they'll pick it up and drop it. When they're doing reps, they'll set it down and they're finding that strongest position. And I thought, well, wait a minute. Why don't we just utilize that to help us find what is the correct position to be in? Because I can give you all these things and go, yes, this needs to line up with this and this needs to line up with this, which is the same in the bench and the deadlift, but it may look different on everybody. Because all of those, everybody has longer femurs or longer torsos or longer tibias or longer forearms. Like we're all built a little bit different. Some guys sumo, conventional, like there's all these factors. So the easiest way I found for people to find their correct technique is to pick the weight up and squat it back down to the ground. So I'm not talking about just setting it back down to the ground. I'm talking about lowering it with intent. And then film yourself, take that video and cut out the picture at the very bottom, and that is probably going to be your strongest position that you should be starting in. And I know people are probably going, the squat and the deadlift are not the same. Well, really, they kind of are the same. Your body's going to be in a little different position because instead of on your back, it's going to be in your hands. But where most people put the bar is right behind their shoulders. So you go from here to here, they're pretty much the same place. And people go, it's not a squat, you don't want to lower your butt down. I go, no, it's not a parallel squat, but it's still a squat. You look at some of the best deadlifters in the world, like my buddy Andy Bolton, his deadlift position and his squat position are not very different. And the difference is because when he squats wider, and then when he pulls conventional. So They really are pretty close to the same principles. So I'm going to run through some here with I only got a couple plates on here to show you, and then I'm going to try to set it up where I can get about the right height but show you without the plate so I can get a straight on view of the side. I'll start with conventional. So I'm just going to come in here and I just pick the bar up first. So what we're going to do is make sure we got a good root, getting everything tight, neutral low back, shoulders in neutral, not protracted forward, not retracted back. I am going to tighten my upper back though, my rhomboids, middle and lower traps. I'm going to use my lats to depress my shoulders and pull my shoulders into my butt the whole way. Now the important thing is to keep this bar as close to my body as possible and sit back the whole way, trying to keep my shins as straight up and down as possible. Basically counterbalancing against the weight. So head in neutral, butt goes back first. Pushing the butt back the whole way, butt back, butt back, butt back, butt back. Up. Butt back, butt back, butt back, butt back, butt back, shoulders behind the bar, right there. This is my starting position. Now when I go out to sumo, which is a much more efficient, easier lift, although it's cheating, but I'm a cheater, so whatever. So I'm just going to pick it up again. So same thing, root, shoulders in neutral, depressed, neutral low back, head in neutral, trying to keep this bar as close to my body and shins straight up and down. Start by pushing the butt back, root those knees out, butt back, knees out, right there. Just like that. That's most likely going to be your strongest position. I basically just set this up at about the height of having plates on here so you can get an unobstructed view without the plate being there. And I'll start with the conventional again. And I'm just going to pick it up. I'll go ahead and do my reverse grip. So again, up here I need to root really hard. And this is going to be a little hard because I counterbalance. You should be counterbalanced against the weight. I was actually watching an old video of one of my first 750 pulls. And as soon as I set the weight down, I fell. Because I was counterbalancing as soon as I let go. And I didn't know at the time that would still pass. So when I was falling, I was all worried about it not passing. So root to feet, neutral low back. Shoulders neutral. Pulling the lats, pulling down as hard as I can. Then I'm going to get my head in neutral, big brace. Butt goes back. Butt goes back till the knees naturally want to bend. I'm continuing to go back. I'm continuing to try to keep my shoulders behind the bar. Coming down, coming down, coming down. Still sitting back, right there. And then up. Change my stance a little bit. Push the butt back. Hold on, I gotta get my root set. Pushing back, pushing back, pushing back. Like I said, it's hard to do with no weight. Then I'll go out to my sumo. Same thing. Root, everything set. Push the butt back. Push it back. Push it back. Hold on. This is how hard it is to do without weight. But I want to show you guys, I want you guys to get a better view of what I'm doing. Now, when people say it's not a squat, I disagree. So this is my normal bench, or my normal squat. I can't remember how big it is. I think it's 13 inches, 14 inches, something like that. So if I squat down right here, and I'm in my regular squat position, you can see my hands are down here. So you're not going to a parallel squat depth. But I'm going to do this just like I do my squat. So that's basically going to be the easiest and most efficient way to figure out what your squat should look like at the bottom. And what I suggest is doing some videos from the side and then take that video and cut clips of your bottom position out and go, this is where I need to be. And then when you videotape yourself, you can go back to that picture and go, wait a minute, am I in this position? And that will help with the proprioception and feeling of if you're in that position. And like I said, people tell you the deadlift is not the squat. Well, yeah, technically it's not, but it's super, super similar. And I don't know if you could see it or not in the video, but like when I deadlifted, at the very bottom, I was still like 2 to 3 inches, maybe more, from even touching the box. Because when I go on my dead squat position and put my hands down, like the bar's up to like right here. So, but don't try to change or get too caught up in what other people are saying or going, oh, it's not the squat, so I need to have my butt high. And then, because if your butt's high, you're making your low back do too much work. You're not pulling in the glutes and the hamstrings. If it's too low, it's just going to be hard to get out of that position. So you want to find that middle position where you're using your back, your glutes, and your hamstrings and recruiting as much muscle fiber as possible. And this is going to help you do that. And the proof in the pudding is if you watch yourself do a heavy set and the first one's a big struggle, usually because the ass is up, and then they get easier after that, that's the starting position you want to find. One of the other things I recommend doing is on our speed pulls, we used to only do singles with the deadlift. My advanced lifters that have good technique, that's all we do is singles for our dynamic work. My guys that are having trouble with it, I'll have them pull the first one, lower the second one down just like this, and then go fast once it touches to try to help them learn that proprioception of where they need to be. And I think that's about it. It's actually not, there's a lot to it, but it's not as complicated as you think, so don't overthink it. Just put the thought into it that it deserves and needs. That's it. Please like this channel. Please subscribe to this channel. Please share this channel. I still need to get a couple hundred more followers before I can try to monetize it at all. Please go to couragebarbell.com, pick up some stickers, some water bottle, apparel. Like I said, I always got new things coming out. We're working on producing these pants. Working on some other stuff. The new podcast is up. Courage Barbell Unlimited. It's on Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, Stitcher, and a few more. I can't even keep track of all of them. That one's going really well. Today, I just posted a new interview with AJ Roberts, which is awesome. AJ's a legend in the sport. I also posted one with Laura Phelps, who is an unbelievable legend in the sport and such a promoter of women's strength. She's awesome. It was a great interview. I had a blast catching up and talking to both of those people. They're old friends of mine. I got more new cool guys coming up with interviews, and then just check out the quotes. I think it's good strength building of the mind to get you thinking about some stuff and changing your perspective and how you look at life and problems in life and how you look at training, just to make everything all around better. So go check that out, follow it, like it, all the other podcast shit that you do. And I'm out of here. Until next time, I will catch you guys later. Give this a try, comment back, let me know what you think, how you like it, and I'll see you guys later. I'm out.